Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Rise and Recreate podcast, a space where we explore stories of transformation, healing, and rising fully into your truth. Today, I'm joined by Danny, a free-spirited creative whose journey is a true testament to faith, loss, and rediscovering herself through the power of music. After losing her mom and walking through a deep despair, she reignited her fire, released her first song, and found her faith in new, beautiful ways. Her story is truly a reminder that even after the darkest seasons, we can rise stronger, softer, and more ourselves than ever before. Danny, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to see how this conversation unfolds, and I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to the listeners and share a bit about what you're up to today.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here and to even talk with you. Prior to this, get to know you a little bit more. My name is Danny Giovanna. I'm originally from Jersey. I'm living in the Hudson Valley region of New York now, working on myself as always, and most importantly, my music, which is something that I had pushed aside for a very long time when I was going through my what I call the lost years. And I finally found that up again, and I found that part of me again. And I have just put myself in full throttle to getting it all out into the world through music, on paper, and for others who probably have gone through similar experiences, for them to find safety and a connection with me, because that's exactly what music has done for me all of these years and will continue to do for me moving forward.
Thank you so much for that. So it sounds like you knew, music was your outlet and your passion and your dream for a really long time, but you mentioned that you pushed that aside.
Mhm.
What did that feel like to just completely push your passion out of your life?
It's so strange. It's not what you think it would feel like, but at least for me, because during that time, so I had mentioned the lost years, and that was my early 20s to mid 20s, which is that period of grief that I was going through and the loss of faith. Um, but there was also a loss of self. Everything that I had known about myself, everything that I had prided myself to be, that was all gone. So when I lost this creative part of me, it's almost like I didn't notice because everything was just gone. I was just
Mm.
this shell of a person. So in those moments, I wasn't thinking about it. It it was the most strange, like numbing feeling to not feel those things that I had once so strongly felt. It wasn't until after the fact, when I began coming out of that dark period, that I realized, oh my goodness, all those years that you weren't working on that part of yourself, that you couldn't, like you didn't have the ability to. It broke my heart then. So it was after the fact that I looked back and I saw pictures of me, and I said, wow, I feel so bad for her. Like that huge part of her wasn't there. And so it was a really sad feeling that then became this determination, which couldn't have ended better for me. Like, if that relighting the fire, which I'm so happy that that came out of it. And it just goes to show, even in the worst scenarios, even in these ways that you, in the moment, you don't even realize you're in it, like, look what can come out of it. And
Mm.
that was so important for me to realize, because then I wasn't angry at myself anymore. I had this little anger of, how could you lose that? And then it was like, all right, you did, but here we are now.
Right. So you referred to those years as your lost years, and it sounds
Mhm.
like, you completely everything that you identified with just completely fell apart all at one time. And, what is it that kept you going on a day-to-day basis to get you through this complete loss of not only, your mother, but yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. What got me through? That's a really hard question, because not much got me through. Really, I was just waking up and going through, like, the motions of being a person. I'm not even going to say a human, because I wasn't a human during those moments. I was just a person. I was this body going through life. At the time, I was still in school. Um, to be a teacher, which is what I am as well. And the kids that I worked with, who I love dearly, they kept me going to an extent, um, because my mom also did that. My mom was also in education. So I was with kids that she and I worked with together. And when I say they were probably one of the only things that provided me with feeling during that time, it's not
Mm,
an exaggeration. So there was that small part of me of, you have to get through this because you are going to be someone's teacher one day. Um, and that's still there. And then I kept trying to remind myself, like, you are one day going to be like a mom and you're going to be married one day and you're like, it's all going to come back. All those things that meant the world to you, like, it will come back, even if you're not feeling it, even if it's not in front of you, just you gotta push through because you're going to get there. And really, and music, it's sounds so crazy, but music. I mean, I would just lay in bed at night and put on songs from my childhood, from my teenage years. And even again, if I wasn't feeling like there was still something going on, the words, and I'm like, I don't know what that person's feeling in this moment right now, but I'm gonna feel that way again one day. Like it's going to happen. So those were two things that pushed me through. Um, and thank goodness that they did, because when you're in that moment, when you're in such this dark place, you really don't know if you're going to come out of it.
mhm. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I really felt your heart in that, and I appreciate you being so open and willing to share that piece of you because so many people go through this and
Yeah.
so many people are in the dark and they don't see the light and they don't see it out, and I think that's just such beautiful advice to know that it will pass and to hold on to the things that you're looking forward to. Even in those moments there's still something to look forward to, and it sounded like
Always.
even if you didn't completely believe it, there was
Yep.
a piece of you somewhere inside that was like, "No, I know. I know this."
Yes, 100%. And our even though, like I said, I wasn't even a human in those moments, there's still that part of you, your soul, that knows it deep down. It's like
Mm,
it's still there even when you don't know it's there. So anybody who that's why I'm so happy to be here, because this is not a independent experience. None of this is. There's so many people, and they have to know that. They have to hear that, because that's something I needed to hear in those moments too.
mm. Absolutely. So, what did it look like for you when you felt the spark kind of come back?
Oh my gosh. Um, it was it was like the most overwhelming but beautiful feeling. So, um, when I was coming out of those years, I had met who is my wife now, and she didn't know that part of me when we met. She didn't know it. She knew me to be like this little thing that was coming out of such darkness, and she didn't know
Mm,
this whole other side of me. And it took, again, a little bit of time, and then one day I came across an artist who re-sparked it for me, and
mm,
her words and her story and her message, I was like, "My gosh, there was a part of me that was like that too," and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh, it's back. It's here." And it's like you're coming home to yourself. And, for a couple months there, I not that I kept it to myself, but yeah, I was like, "All right, we got some things to figure out internally before I bring it on out." And, I sat with myself night after night, and I went back into pictures of the years where I was really active in music when I was younger, and and it brought back what all that felt like, and it was this overwhelming feeling of, "Oh my gosh, you lost so much time," but then it was like this peaceful feeling of, "You're exactly where you have to be, and that you came home. You're here," like, and it reminds me of this quote that says, of all the journeys you take in life, the journey back to yourself is the most beautiful. And that resonated with me so much because I really felt in that, like those moments of just being with myself so internally that I had returned back to myself. And then it was like that fire, like lit right underneath me. And I was like, I gotta get out now. I gotta get into the world. Oh my gosh, I gotta do everything I want to do. So then it was like all chaotic energy of me going, I need a guitar and I need to go out and sing and I need to find a band and and then I was like, you got to slow down. Let's figure out how we're going to do this right and in the best way. So there was like stages of it, but every single stage was like a really beautiful feeling.
Mm. Okay, so I think for everyone, Danny and myself, let's just take a few deep breaths right now to really anchor in that hope after the storm, you know? So we're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth or the nose, whatever's more comfortable to you. Deep inhale. Maybe even place your hand on your heart and just really feel that no matter what you're going through, there is always hope. And maybe finding a bit of yourself in Danny's story and just realizing that, okay, I can do this too. It is not wrong for me to feel the depths of my feelings and allow that to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, one more breath in and release. So, you mentioned something that I think is so important for people to hear. And it sounds like you almost got caught up in it, but you immediately realized to not judge yourself for what you had just been through. Like a part of you was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wasted all that time. But then that other part of you was like, no, I am not going to use that as an excuse now. Walk us through that and what advice you would give somebody who's like, okay.
Um, there's like my mom always used to joke, and then now my wife and I joke. There's like these two sides of me. I'm like a paradox. There's this one like totally out there side. That was the part that was, oh my gosh, we wasted all this time. What are we gonna do? And then there's that I'm a Virgo. So I'm very grounded. And then there was that logical part of me that's like, no, we're okay. We got this. So I just turned 30 in September. And I never understood everybody saying that they were afraid of that. I'm like, afraid of what? What it's a number. What do you? And then it hit me, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be 30. And am I behind? Am I? And again, there's those two like fighting on my shoulder. But really, when you sit and you look at it, 30 years here seems like such a long time. But I mean, think about those first 10 years. You're little, you're figuring, you don't know what's going on, right? You're just going day by day and people are doing things for you and you don't have a lot of responsibilities. And then those next 10 years are like a little crazy themselves, right? High school into college, you're trying to figure all these things out. And then that third set of 10 years that's your time to make mistakes and that's your time to find yourself and that's your time to explore and see what it is you want to do. So now when you hit 30, that's when it's just beginning. You think
Mm-hmm.
you're yourself now. You hopefully, and even if you're not doing it by 30, you're not behind, but like hit 30 and it's like this is when the fun begins. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I'm trying to do. I know what I'm for and what I'm meant to be here for and my belief system is strong and that was only because of what you did for those 30 years prior. You were never going to get there without it. So sit with yourself and say, wow, like look at everything that I did. Now's my time to take what I've learned. Now's my time to, you know, all the ways I've been inspired and whatnot and do something with it. Like, this is the perfect time to do that. This is the perfect age to do that. No one's going to tell you who you are or what you should be doing. You are so strong in yourself in this moment that the world is going to see you for exactly who you are because that's the person you're walking as now. And It takes some time. It does. You're not going to overnight, but it takes that time. But once you finally get there and you realize, you're not behind. You're not on anyone else's timeline. Everyone does their thing, and for one person it may look this way, and for another person it may look that way. But just make sure that in 30 years from now, you can look back and say, I did what I had to do, and I did what I wanted to do. And my life did not just pass me by trying to live up to what other people think I should be living up to as like, this is your life. This is your time. Be selfish. Be selfish with it. And that's a hard thing to be for, I think, a lot of people when you want to do and make the people around you happy. But then you hit 30, you're like, I gotta make myself happy. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful realization. And that's really something I hope everybody comes to at some point. Even if it's not 30, even if it's 35, even if it's 40, you got there, and that's what matters.
Mm, absolutely. There were a
Yeah.
couple of really beautiful lessons in there for everyone listening. And I think a big one for me was tapping back into what it was I wanted instead of what I thought I should do, because I traveled all of my 20s and I always had this idea of, oh, I'll figure it out when I'm in my 30s. I'm just enjoying my life now. In my 30s, surely I'll figure it out. And then I turned 30 and I was like, nope, fuck it. I want to keep traveling. So kept traveling. Now then I was like 32 and I was like, uh-oh, the shoulds started
Yeah,
piling in. Oh, I should have a career. I should do this. I should do that. And that did lead me into the corporate world because I thought that's what I should do.
right, right.
This year, I blew that all the fuck up and just decided to do what I wanted to do. And so
Well,
it's never too late. If you found that, like, oh, maybe I have put myself in this little box of what I thought other people wanted me to do or what I thought I should do to live whatever kind of life it is that I want to do, like, that's okay. Just notice
yeah,
that and blow it up and do whatever you want to
yeah.
do.
I like that. Just blow it up.
Just blow it up and move forward. So now here you are. It sounds like your feet were really underneath you again and you were feeling more like sturdy and stable in life and you had all of this energy flowing through you, all of this creativity. I should go buy a guitar. I should join a
Yeah.
band. I should do all of these things. But from a should of you wanted to, not a should of what everybody else wanted you to do.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what did that look like for you? Really stepping into that new you, honestly.
Yeah. It was. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, everything that I do is chaotic, which is fine because it's
Same.
fun, and I think that's why we're both sitting here right now, and I do like that for us. Um, it was yeah, and then I overwhelm myself, right? And then I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I gotta do all these things, I gotta do all these things, and then again, thank goodness for that other part of me, and then thank goodness for my wife, who was very grounded and very sturdy, and she's like, "Okay. Let's bring it on down and let's look at it from this angle instead of all the way up here." So for me, it was okay. I had gotten rid of all of my stuff when I moved from Jersey to New York to be with my wife. We didn't have the room and I wasn't using it. I got rid of all of it and then I was like, oh gosh, I can't believe I did that. So I went back out and I started with a $75 Facebook Marketplace guitar. It was a youth guitar, and when I started taking it out, people thought it was a ukulele, and I was like, I was like, "This is guitar." I was like, I was not a ukulele. Excuse me, sorry, the kids have got me a little sick right now. Um, but me and that little youth guitar, I mean, we sat in this room day in and day out till 11 o'clock at night. My wife, when she works nights, like I'm in my back room. No one could even get in contact with me. Like I'm in a whole other world back here. And I just began writing and writing and writing and writing. And I have hundreds of pages of just everything that finally I was able to put onto paper. And from there, I went on this hunt for someone to help me put it to words. I mean, not put the words to music. That's what I'm trying to say. Put it to music. because growing up, I was always just the singer, right? I always had a band behind me and I sang and I always wrote the words, but I didn't write the music with it. And I felt like I just couldn't find that person that I was looking for here. And I met up with, I can't tell you how many different people, and they were all talented beyond belief, but I was like, it's just not worth, there's just something missing. And then one day I sat there with my little guitar. I said, you're going to do it. You're going to write them. Like go pick a chord and then pick another chord and you're going to write the music with it. And I was like, all right. And here I go. So finally, I was like, you've been looking outside yourself,
Mm.
almost to complete it. And the universe said, it's not there. It's in you and you're going to figure it out. And I did. And from that moment, I wrote so many songs. Like, and I was now able to bring out into the world on my own. You couldn't tell me 10 years ago that I'd be standing on stage by myself without a band behind me. And I loved being in bands. I loved that. But now I'm by myself. I'm not relying on anybody. It's me up there playing, figuring out how to make a chord and do a chord that I kept saying, my hands are too small. I can't. No, I'm stretching those fingers out across like, I figured it out. And all that chaotic energy all of a sudden went like this. And it became very calm. And like, that's what I needed. I needed to just calm it down and sit on the floor with that guitar and say, all right, you're figuring it out. And it was an experience to say the least. And it was all so internal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so much of this stuff is just internal. And then you bring it out and, everyone then sees it. But the real like power, the real progress that's made is done so quietly and no one sees it and no one knows it's happening until you're like, here it is. And they have no clue what you went through to get there because it was just done in such like this private way, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and even like through your story, you mentioned some of the beliefs that you had that you had to face and then shift. Like, I'm only a singer. I've
Yeah.
never written my own music. I'm not capable. My hands are too small to even
Mm-hmm.
play. Even though this is a youth guitar, nope, my hands are still way too small to do this.
Yeah. And I was like, were you making excuses because you didn't think you were good enough or that you didn't think you were smart enough? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe they were. Maybe there was that part of me that didn't have the confidence in those ways. And I was just relying on somebody else and other people and more seasoned musicians and more knowledgeable people. And then it's like, mm, you got to become that person.
Mm-hmm.
You got to become that person.
Absolutely. And we can hold two beliefs at once, like beliefs that are conflicting always exist simultaneously. Like, there was
Yeah.
that piece inside of you that believed so deeply, like, okay, nobody else is writing this how I want it to be done. I
Mhm.
believe I can do this. And then alongside that belief sat the other beliefs of why I cannot do this.
Yeah.
And so the quiet work that you're talking about is recognizing both sides of the spectrum and giving one more power, giving the one that, I do believe I can do this, focusing on that more, giving that one more power, and letting those other ones just slowly dissolve. You could quickly blow them the fuck up, or you could also let them slowly dissolve. Depends on where you're at in life.
Exactly.
So for
Exactly.
somebody right now listening who they're like, wait a second. Oh, I feel both. I feel I have this dream and a part of me knows that I'm meant to do this. But gosh, all the other beliefs are holding me down so deeply. What advice would you give them?
Sit with all of it. Sit with all of it. Write it down and just read it and say to yourself, yeah, two things 1000% could exist at once. But which one is still going to exist tomorrow? Which one is
Mm.
still going to exist a year from now? Is it going to be that one or is it going to be that one? And then when you pick the one it is, go for it. Close your eyes and just run towards it and do not look back and do not stop. And again, my wife is so wonderful. I was able to come to her with some of those limiting beliefs and some of those self-doubting beliefs, and even just putting them out there and having her say, okay, but now what?
Mm.
Like, sometimes you just need that person who's going to bring it down for you and to even it out. And you're like, yeah, okay, you're right. But now what? I 1000% believe in manifesting. I 1000% believe like you have the ability to create everything you want. And once you recognize those self-limiting beliefs, again, honor them, honor that there is a part of you, but get it out of there. However that sees fit. If you do like a releasing ritual, which is like just things that I do like to do, where you maybe burn it on a piece of paper and let it go. Whatever the case is, look at them, honor them, sit with them, argue with them, and then throw them out. And the belief that you want to stick with, the belief that I can do this, and the one that you think that's the one I still want to be saying to myself in a year, you gotta run towards it. There's just no other and I think you could say that there's no other way to live this life than running full speed towards the things that make you a happy person and an
Mhm.
excited person and a person that says like life has to be lived to the fullest. And how is that going to look for me? There's just no other way.
Right. Right. There I completely agree. And something that's helped me a lot when beliefs come up, because this, by the way, this isn't going to go away. This is going to, every new level you reach, there are going to be beliefs that you held in the past that come back up to the surface
Yep.
that maybe tug at you a little bit. And what I like to ask myself when these come up is this belief, which are just thoughts you consistently have that you then
Mhm.
form into being a truth about yourself, is this truth that I am holding true at the moment, is this limiting me or is this expanding me? And if
Mm,
it's limiting me, do I want to keep this here? Is there a way I can reword this to be more empowering? Am I ready to let this go?
right.
you know,
Right.
sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes it
Sometimes
feels
you're
more
not.
comfortable to hold on to that.
It is to And the mind is such a powerful thing that I have
Mm,
learned in these last few years. I mean, if there is one part of your body to be in tune with more than anything, it is your mind. And it is to get to know, like, figuratively, literally, like, get to know yourself from the inside out.
mhm.
And then those, like you said, those conversations that you're I mean, what we must look like having those conversations with ourselves. Like, I must be sitting in this back room, like, talking to myself, and the hands are going and the eyes are rolling. But it's all like this internal thing going on. But that's where, again, like that's where all of it makes the difference is when you're doing all of that with yourself, in yourself, within yourself, having other people around you. Yes, it's helpful. But it just comes down to you at the end of the day. Like you're the only person who could do it.
Absolutely. It's all within. It's all internal. And it's you you either let yourself fly or you hold yourself down and you anchor yourself to the ground and you're like, "No." And sometimes you hold on to that so long. And something I've noticed is when I'm in that area of like deep resistance, whether it's fear, like I'm so afraid of the thing that I want to do like hurting me in some way, I've found that staying in that resistance for an extended amount of time typically feels worse than just doing the damn thing.
Yeah. Well, you're right, though. You're right, and you're like, "Oh, that's what I was worried about? Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
so
that
bad."
didn't even happen.
We're our own worst enemy, everybody. You are like your own worst enemy. It's the truth. Mhm.
Yes. Yes, it really is. So now in your life, you're doing it. Like you're out there performing. You figured it out. You stretched your fingers and were able to hit all of the chords you
Yeah.
needed to do.
Yep.
And so from this place, because this is a completely different place from you creating who you are today, you started a completely different space. Now you're in this space of like a more regulated nervous system, more calm, more confident, and holy shit, I can achieve the things I set out to.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
Man, I mean, it's when you really sit and look at it, and I do it often. I'm like, where was I a year ago? And a year ago, I had that little youth guitar, which has since broken. Um, so sad when I pulled it out of the bag the one day and I said, "Oh, it's time to upgrade," but it's still in my room back here. I had this little guitar, no idea that I was going to have a song completely done and released on streaming platforms. And I was performing at nursing homes.
Oh,
That's what I was, and of course I loved that. I mean, my goodness, it was a beautiful thing to be with these people, and they enjoyed themselves. But that's where I was a year ago, thinking that I was doing so much in those moments. I was making a little bit of money that was going towards my recording fund, and then to jump to where I am right now on this interview, on this podcast with you. I mean, and I was a few weeks ago on another one, and I have a song that's released. I have one that's about to be released. I have all of these songs that are getting ready that I hope I can be recording soon. I just played in Times Square in New York City, and I'm just like, you did all of that. Nobody did that for you. That was something you did because you had the courage to truly believe in yourself and to just I throw myself out there. Like, I literally just kick my ass right out there sometimes. And I'm like, I had no business doing that. But look where it got me. I'm like, for someone who doesn't have the same experience as other people playing guitar, I have a lot of audacity to go stand in front of people and play it. But because I did that, it led to other things. So I am like on this high of just, you can manifest anything. You say it, you speak it into existence. So the things that I'm speaking into existence right now are like
yes.
insane. Like, it's insane, the stuff that I'm whispering to the moon and I'm whispering in my morning tea and drinking it down, and it's just more than anything, like, I just want my music to be heard as by as many people as it can be. And I want the people who hear it to truly feel what I feel when I listen to certain music. I just want them to go, wow, that person is like speaking my mind. That person is saying the things that I'm too afraid to say. That person
Mhm.
could literally be standing in my shoes right now, because that's what got me through everything. When I listened to a certain song, I'm like, wow, I'm not the only person.
Mhm.
And this person feels that way. Like, look, one of my favorite artists felt that way. And I just want to be that person for as many people as I can. I just want them to look at me and go, well, if she could do it, I could do it. If she can get through that, I can get through that. Look how happy, like, that's like a beautiful feeling for someone to look and just say, like, look how happy she is. Like, look how much she's enjoying herself and life. And I want someone to go out. I want to do that too. I want what that girl does. And it's just to be here and present and happy and loving life and doing exactly what it is you want to be doing. So, you know, that's what I'm manifesting. That's what I'm here doing. I just want a community of people that feel that way, because I'm a part of so many different communities for artists that feel that way. And when I look back on my life, hopefully in 100 years, like, that's stuff I'm going to remember. And those are things that I'm going to say, wow, like, that kept me going. And that gave me the courage to do what I did, and to do that, be able to do that for somebody else is absolutely incredible. Like, that's the dream right there. That's the
Mhm.
dream. 100%.
There's such a beautiful, like, incredible thread through your story when you were at the depths and you were, like you mentioned it, not even a human, a shell of a human, just existing. And even though you couldn't really truly like feel things in your body, there was still something in music that like helped you see the light and
Mhm.
help you tap into, okay, like this is where I'm at now, but I have these thoughts of the future. And you have embodied that so incredibly beautifully to now be that light for somebody else who might be a shell of a human currently and being like, wait, she got through not only did she get through all of that, but she had a dream that she followed so courageously, and then that came true for her, and now she's built up the confidence, okay, I'm seeing the light, like, you are that light for other people, and I think that is just so incredibly beautiful, and I'd love for you to go a bit further into like you mentioned, whispering your intentions out to I do all of these things too, and I love these conversations of just how powerful it is of drawing a line in the
Mhm.
sand and really intending like this is going to happen in my life. And even though I don't feel it right now, like I believe, I believe. So what would you tell somebody who can't quite grasp that the things they really want for themselves can even happen to them?
Yeah, and there's too many people out there who feel that way. Too many people. You see it, you read it, you even when you're just scrolling, you're like in comments that people say, you're like, "Man, I need you to get to the other side of that." And I can only say speak of it because it's happened to me, because it, like I said, I every single day, I think it's very important to say something that you're grateful for, right? And whatever you believe in, whoever you believe in, whatever, it doesn't matter. You gotta just every day I say, first off, thank you for all of this. Like, thank you for this life that I have. Thank you for the body that I have. Thank you for, and then, you start to see that gratitude in a lot of things, and you start to see more things pop up that you're like, wow, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for that, and da, 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 and the list then just continues and continues. And then you start to see how it weaves in and out of the things that you were thinking about and you're feeling. You really have to give yourself I'm trying to think of the right word, like, give yourself the acknowledgement of where you started and like where you currently are. And look at all the growth that you made. Look at all of the chances you took. You did all that. And if you could go from here to here, you can go from here to here. And I do believe gratitude is the basis for a lot of it when you really start to realize what the universe sends your way and the people they send your way and the experience that are sent your way. And when you start to say, wow, that was an open door. Wow, look what happened because I was in this place at this time. It all starts to add up. And then you're overwhelmed, like, whoa, like, who's doing this for me? But it's when you're so in sync with yourself internally, but then the world around you, it, like, the possibilities truly are endless. So if you're wondering, where do I start? Start with what you're grateful for. Start with what you have in this moment, the tools you have in this moment that you want to build upon. Okay, I have this little $75 youth guitar that everyone's laughing at me for, but it's making music and it's giving my words sound. And how am I going to build from there? Right. And you do it. You start to build from like this little thing, and it starts to grow and it starts to grow and it starts to grow. And when I manifest, for some reason lately, I've been saying the snowball effect, where you start like this little, and then it rolls and it grows and it rolls and it grows. And then I say, and I'm going to be that avalanche, that avalanche moment. And when you visualization, woo, that's a huge thing to visualize, is like, And you do that before bed, and you do that in the morning, like when you're still in that sleepy state where you're not totally here and you're not totally there. Like that's how you start to tap into the subconscious and the part of you that needs that rewiring and needs those thoughts to really just, And there's so many things to do. And like you and I could probably sit here for hours and talk about it.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, but start with that. Start with what am I grateful for? Like, what am I know I'm looking to get here, but what do I have in this moment that like I just have naturally and I've already been provided with? And then like let it snowball and see how it does. Right?
Yes.
You do similar things? I'm sure you do.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
the momentum aspect is incredible. Like just like how I mentioned earlier, keeping yourself in the resistance actually feels a bit more miserable than just doing the damn thing. I was in resistance to starting this podcast. Oh, I don't know, for like a year at least.
Wow.
I
Really?
just I didn't have I felt like it was a bit of perfectionism where I wasn't 100% sure the context of how it was going to go. And since I didn't have all of this clarity, I didn't take action. But then
Mhm.
lo and behold, the things you hear in life actually are true and you don't really realize it until you do it. Like you find clarity in the messy middle.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I need clarity before I start this. I need to know how I'm going to find the people, all of the things. One day, I've been on a hell of a journey this year, and one day it was just so loud inside of me to like just post it. Just post your story
Yeah.
out there and see, just
Mhm.
see. And the response I got was incredible. And I was like, oh boy, I'm doing this. I'm doing it.
That's
And
right.
then I started doing it and I was like, okay, number one, that was not that scary. It felt much more worse the past year of knowing I wanted to create this and not doing anything about it.
Not doing it. Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
two, the momentum is insane. Like it's starting to just build itself in a way.
Mhm.
And I think the perfectionism and the I don't know kept
Yes.
me stuck for a long time.
Yes. It
Hmm.
is. It's those are 2 good points. It's that unknown. Everyone's so afraid of the unknown, which we've been programmed to be afraid of that. We've been
Hmm.
programmed to fear what's not laid out in front of you and safe.
Yes.
But when you get past that, that's where you're like you say, that momentum, they're like, "Oh my god, like, look what could happen." You almost have to just have this blind trust in yourself, this blind trust in the universe, in whoever or whatever, where it's like, "You got my back, and there's no possibility to fail here."
Yes. Well, I love how you used the word audacity earlier because this is something that's been in my life this year. And, you know, sometimes audacity gets a bad rap. Like, oh, that
Yes.
person has the
Yeah.
audacity to do that. I can't believe it. And it has this negative connotation. But I invite you to change your perspective on the word audacity and think of it as I have the audacity to do that. I
Mhm.
have the courage and the belief in myself to be audacious and go show up places where, you know, maybe people who play the guitar better than me perform here. Who cares? I have the audacity to be here
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, you're right. You're 1000%. I love that. The audacity. I mean, it's true. It is true. Okay, who cares? Good for them. Where
Yeah.
did they start? They started here one day. Maybe it was 10 years ago, but now's my starting point, right? Or you could just stay in that unknown and another 10 years can go by where you just
Mm,
left yourself there. But we don't want that.
yeah.
That's not what we're out here trying to do, right? That's where we're trying to build people up to get out of that and have the I love that, to have the audacity. I love
The
that.
audacity. And also, you just
Mhm.
mentioned like everybody starts somewhere. And if the more you keep spinning before you start, the longer that uncomfortable
Yeah.
energy, that dense, uncomfortable energy is going to stay around you. And honestly, just starting, the power behind just taking the first step and just being like, okay, I am going to do this. Sure, I don't really know the how, but you know what? I'm going to take the first step and just really trust that the next step is going to unfold for me and I will figure it out as I go.
And then then you get addicted to that feeling.
Hmm.
Then you
And then the
feel
snowball grows.
and then the snow and yeah, then you're like, "Whoa, I could do anything. Oh my god." And then it's like, "Woo, the fun begins because you're just out here doing everything." And it is. It's a good feel. It's a very good feeling when you reach that point, but only you can reach that point, right? No one's
Yes.
doing it for you, and it really does have to come from, like, right, like, within here, and it's really cool. It's really cool when that all starts to happen for you.
Absolutely. It's definitely releasing the comparison to others, where if you
Mhm.
see something you want to do and you see somebody who's so much further ahead of you,
Yeah.
instead of tapping into the comparison aspect, well, they have something different than me, like it was easier for them. All of these stories come up for
Yeah.
sure. Just recognize those, just being aware, okay, these stories are coming up, but what in that person do I see myself in? They at
Yes.
some point in their life had the courage to fall flat on their face and just start. Like they didn't
Mhm.
start at the level of where they are today.
No. No, and I love that you brought that up because I feel like I had just watched a video of a very similar, someone talking about that, and then they said, instead of comparing, look at that person and go, "Look what's possible."
Mm,
Like, "Look, they could do that? Oh my gosh, I can do that too." Like, look at that person and look at them for, like, concrete evidence that, "Look what can be done." And so it's so easy to compare. It's so easy to do that. And I don't love to compare myself. Everyone is bringing something so different to the table.
mhm,
And so when I do come across people who are maybe doing something similar to me, instead of it being a competition, it's like, oh man, look what I can get to. She's there, I can get there too. And then it becomes like a comfort. It's like,
mhm.
oh, look at her doing that. I'm going to do that too. And then
Right.
instead of being like in a jealousy or an envy, like you become so proud of that person even if you don't even know who they are. And it's just that rewiring. All of these
Mhm.
we got so many up there and it's all about changing the perspective, and I know that people probably hear it all the time, but until you start to do it, you don't realize it makes a big difference.
It really does. And the whole, like, why not me? If they can do it, why not me? Why can't I do that? And start to cultivate the beliefs that I can do that. I
Yeah.
really can. Like, I'm
Yeah.
starting to really believe in myself. I'm feeling the momentum. I did this one hard thing. I think the advice of looking back in time and seeing where you've come from is so incredibly powerful, because a lot of times we take where we are here, we take what it is we want in the future, we put it on a big old pedestal, and then we
Mhm.
come up with all of the reasons why we're not there, why we can't have that. How come I'm not there yet? Am I ever going to be there? And it starts to like give you this disempowering belief system.
Yeah.
But when you reverse that and you look back in time and you're like, oh, holy shit, I really have done so many things. And I see the moments in my life where I did choose like faith over fear, and I did have the audacity, and I
Yeah.
did do the thing. And look where that got me. I can do that again. And like you can
Yes.
almost build up a snowball of like belief in yourself too.
Mhm.
And that grows and grows and grows. And then next thing you know, you are where you wanted to be, anyways.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I did that. What's next?
What's next? Then it's like, "Oh, why now I could do all." But it's and I really hope that, like, everybody knows what that feels like.
Mm,
I really do. I hope that everyone gets the chance to sit down with themselves and do that because, like I said, life gosh, we're not here that long when you think
mm-mm,
about it. We are not here that long, and that was something I always from when I was young, I was like, "Life is gotta be lived, it's gotta be lived," and then I lost that, those years took that from me, took that and then I got back into that of, "I got 1 life here." And I better be able to look back on that life and go, "You did it. You did everything you said you wanted to do. You chased every feeling you had. You like my mom and I, our favorite song together was I Hope You Dance. And like that's more than a song. That's like the what life should be. You gotta dance. There's no option. Like you can sit on the sideline and watch everybody else doing it, or you could throw yourself out there with all that audacity and you dance. And like I wake up every day and I'm like, I have to dance. I have to. There's just this feeling that comes with it, this beautiful feeling You know, those moments when you're like, this is like what life is all about. And then you're chasing that feeling forever and ever. But instead, I'm creating that feeling every day for myself. And I just can only hope one day I pass that on to children. I hope they do the same. But right now, people that are around me, people I come across, like, I enjoy talking about these things and I enjoy hearing other people doing the same because that's what it's all about. We have to do
Hmm.
that. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. And then I feel for people who aren't there yet, but they'll get there. They'll get there.
Hmm.
And it's because of you and a podcast like this that someone is going to be able to get there. So this stuff is so important. And I don't think it's spoken about as much as it should be.
Mm. I completely agree because it's like a lot of things feel so separate, and sometimes you feel so separate to other people, and you put yourself on this island that what you're going through is different. Nobody can relate to you. And then you just get so lost and alone and out there. And, my hope with this podcast and sharing other people's stories is that you see a bit of yourself in somebody and you realize I'm not alone. And then you build up even the tiniest bit of strength to share with somebody what you're going through, or to ask for help, or to just be witnessed and,
Yeah.
and what it is that you're going through. And then through that, finding the hope that there's more to life and things will work out for me and life will unfold in beautiful ways. And then just really building yourself up. And, there's a momentum effect in there with life too. Everything, we're meant to grow and expand and grow and expand and grow and expand. And Danny, your story is such an incredibly beautiful reminder of that no matter what life throws at you, there is the light and you do have the power within to move through it. And I'm definitely going to put, the link to your music in the show notes, but I would love to just hear from you what last words you have from your heart for the listeners, and anything else you want to say.
Um, Man, the first thing I would say is if you're listening to this, if you're here, there's a reason. You are someone who's either looking for that spark or you're someone who's already found that spark and you want to keep growing, but you've clearly found yourself in a community of empowerment and growth. And so you're already on such a great path, right? If you're here already, like you know these things, life is meant to be lived in the most wonderful way and words are important and connection with people is important. So don't stop that. Continue to do that, whether you're doing something creative or whether you're a doctor, completely opposite of what I'm doing. There's still a connection there. Like we are still all here for a similar reason. And if you hear me and you start to get to know me and my story, and if you're someone who did go through such a profound loss at such a young age, where you thought like you would never be the same, you're not going to be the same. You are going to be different, but there's so much power in that difference. There's compassion, there's truth, there's all these things that come with grief that we also don't talk about, that you can turn it into these things. And you're not by yourself. And there is 1000% light, and there's 1000% ways that you can still make a beautiful life for yourself even after that darkness. And you could still make yourself proud, and you could still make the people around you proud, and you can still find that part of you that's full of fire and full of
Mm-hmm.
determination that didn't go anywhere. It was only dimmed for a little bit. It's there. Find it. Find your purpose and do absolutely everything you can do to make sure you get there. That's what you owe yourself. After years of darkness, after years of being sad and angry, you owe yourself this time. It doesn't matter your age, none of that matters. Find it and run towards it with everything you have. And you're going to find that other people are going to do the same. And you're going to inspire people without even realizing it. So that's what it's all about. And I can't thank you enough for this last hour that you've sat and spoke with me, and you've let me talk, and you've let me say things, and you've shared your experiences. I mean, I wish I had something like this 8 years ago, but now we have it now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's the important thing, and I'm just so happy for everybody that's going to find this, and all the other people you get to speak with and come across you. Like this little light that you have shining and that you're giving other people like a place to shine, it's going to become an avalanche. I know it. I know it's going to, and I'm very excited for you. I am. This is really wonderful. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That just brought tears to my eyes. I am so grateful for this conversation. I hope everyone listening found a bit of themselves in this. And, maybe this sparked something inside of you. Like Danny just said, the fire doesn't go away. Maybe it just dimmed a little bit. And it's up to you now to fuel that fire. Start feeding it things. Start feeling it grow inside of you. Have the audacity to go do something.
I'm gonna start saying that like every day now. The audacity.
The audacity. Have the audacity to go live your best life. Have your audacity to push fear aside for a moment and
Mhm.
just be curious of what if I took this first step. And truly, from my personal experience, I promise you the clarity really actually is found in the action and in the messy middle, doing things you don't know how to do and just trusting that you will figure it out along the way. So, Danny, thank you so, so much from the bottom of my heart for being here with us today.
Thank you as well. I appreciate it.
Yes, and I hope everyone has the best day. And just remember that it's up to you and you can recreate your life whenever the heck you want.
That's right. Have the audacity.
The audacity.